What are we waiting for? Take this!
What's up, Jive Turkeys, and welcome to the Storytime with Boots podcast. I have a very special episode today. We have a Storytime with Boots exclusive, the first ever interview with the king of celebrity boxing, the king of bare knuckle fighting, Damon and David Feldman. For anyone who's not familiar, these guys have traveled the world promoting some of the biggest celebrities and professional fighters in the world, names like Danny Bonaduce, Jose Canseco, Rodney King, interviews with Jimmy Fallon, Howard Stern, the list goes on and on. So I'm excited to have the first ever Feldman brother interview. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, hey, my man. Thanks for having us.
I'm going to start out with you, Damon. I saw online that you actually started out as a boxer, and you had a pretty good record, 9-0. How did that convert over into the promotion business for you? So what happened there? Why not continue on with the boxing?
I just got injured in an accident, I just basically was figuring out what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I wasn't in college. I wasn't a scholastic person. Came up with an idea of tough man competition. Put our first tough man competition together and started doing fights. Hooked up with the actor Danny Bonaduce, Tonya Harding, and started doing celebrity boxing.
And now you've been doing this for a while, and I know how tough it can be to try to book guests. And even back then, it was probably a little tougher. Doesn't seem like, you could probably just reach out on Facebook or something like that. How does one go about getting these big names like a Danny Bonaduce or a Tonya Harding?
Well, I was thinking what I was going to do next in my career because boxing just wasn't doing it. So I was playing around in my apartment in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and I looked up Bonaduce's name, and I reached out to him. I said, listen, man, I'm a boxing promoter. What do you think about doing a celebrity boxing match? He got back to me within, honestly, 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? He's like, I said, I love this stuff. I'll definitely do it. I said, what kind of number? He told me the number. I said, done deal. And my life and career was changed and overnight, really, yeah. And then Tonya Harding came. I did, Bam Margera's dad, Michael Lohan, all the Hollywood mistresses, Tila Tequila, Coolio, Jeremy Jackson from Baywatch, Willie Ames, Jose Canseco, Tonya Harding, Octomom, Amy Fisher, Joey Buttafuoco, Amy Fisher's husband, and the list goes on.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people who might want to get in this, and they're asking themselves, how the hell do I go about this? Someone like you starting out, you had the balls to call up Danny Bonaduce, get him on board. How do you figure out the whole logistics of the business side, knowing, like you said, figuring out what to pay these people, booking the venues, things like that?
It's just, it's all strategic. It's all learning experiences. You got to fail. You got to fall flat in your face to really understand where you're going in your life. And me and him both did it. You know what I mean? Like we tried to work together a couple of times. We did some great events. We just went our different directions. And now I'm on the top of my game. He's on top of his game. But I didn't get there anywhere. I know I'm on the great things. Thank God for everything, man. And I fell flat on my face, you know what I mean? And that's how you live and learn, and I'm just excited for the future.
Absolutely. And the best way to learn, like you said, is through experience. Everybody wants the fast lane, the quick path to success, and that doesn't happen, man. You got to be really lucky for something like that to happen.
Hey, that's where I learned it all, you know what I mean? Like, I hit a brick wall. I wrote a book and all this, spending 13 months away, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Think of understand life, and I understand life now, and I'm very patient now. So
no bigger path to success than learning through struggle.
That's what it's all about. Me and my brother always went under. People knocked us down. People, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, they don't understand. Like, we're a Feldman, name.
Fighting's
legacy,
in your blood,
man. It's legacy. We're fighters, and it doesn't matter how many times we get knocked down. You're not knocking us out. The bottom line is, first, you're not going to beat us in a fight. So, and you're definitely not going to knock us down in life. So,
got that Philly Rocky spirit in you.
100%. 100%.
And David, how about you? So you took a little bit of a different path, and now you have the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. You worked a little bit with your brother, like he said. How did you get involved with promotion and eventually doing Bare Knuckle?
Actually, the same thing. I started out as a professional boxer. Our father trained 7 world champions. We had the who's who of boxing and the prisons that lived with us growing up. Like we had everything. 2 guys that lived with us are on death row. We've seen it all, and I guess that's what taught us how to kind of deal with all the obstacles. And when you get knocked down, you get back up, as Damon was saying. But I got into this actually. We're brothers. We have each other's back, but certain things just aren't going to work for us. And we did a couple shows together, and a partnership wasn't meant to be for us. So I actually went out west, went out to Arizona, started doing a lot of shows out there with at an Indian casino out there, the Fort McDowell Casino. Things started really taking off. I came back here. I was doing a lot of shows, a lot of MMA shows, and one of my fighters, Bobby Gunn, who we started talking to about bare knuckle boxing. He's a Irish gypsy traveler, and he was telling me about bare knuckle over there in England and Scotland and how they did it. They solved family feuds by betting on who was going to win in bare knuckle fights. Just crazy, crazy stuff. And I said, I'm gonna give this a shot, and I'm gonna do a fight. So August 5th, 2011, we did our first bare knuckle fight at the Fort McDowell Casino. 1 bare knuckle fight on top of an MMA undercard.
Wow, so this has been for 7 years now.
I tried it once. I did it once. It succeeded. I'll get into the story. I actually worked on it for 9 straight years. I've been working on this project. But the reason why we're here, why we kept really pushing on it, we did over 1 million people logged in to buy the fight, but we were very new to internet streaming, and the paywall crashed. It was a very cheap price, but it still would have been enough to change a lot of people's life.
Sure.
And, another thing, we fell on our face. But we saw the interest in it, so we kept going. We knocked on 29 states' doors. 28 of them told us no. We just kept knocking. We quit. We started up again. And then Brian Pedersen from the state of Wyoming gave us our break, and we did our first legally state-sanctioned bare-knuckle fighting event ever in the history of America, ever.
Wow.
And
that was in 2011?
No, that was actually this year, June 2nd, 2018. And then we went August 25th down to John Lewis's state in Mississippi at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, and we did a hell of a show there on pay-per-view. And our next one's coming up in actually 2.5 weeks, October 20th, back in Mississippi. Got a great card, and we're opening a lot of eyes. We have a lot of people looking at us right now. We have a really huge potential deal with ESPN on the table right now. Really, cracking down some doors and jumping over the obstacles and making this mainstream a little faster than any of us ever imagined it would be.
It's crazy because you see all the trouble that combat sports have had. Like, in particular, the UFC had for so long couldn't get sanctioned in New York. I'm sure you probably dealt with a lot of shit just trying to overcome those obstacles. Did you face any of that? Did you have any adversity trying to get these events off the ground?
It was unbelievable. I mean, we had to do events, so we had to get people talking about it. We had Rolling Stone magazine, Esquire magazine. We had people like that interested in the story, so we had to do fights. So we did underground fights, and we were getting chased out. Cops are coming in the front door, running out the back door. We're doing whatever it took to get people to talk about this. So they were talking about it, and we finally got it done. And as far as the obstacles, like I said, 28 states told us no. I would say about 6 to 8 of them told us never call them again. Some of them said we'll be number 2. John Lewis in Mississippi told me he'd be number 2. He was number 2. But it's just, it's amazing because I'd say 12 of those 28 states that turned me down wouldn't even pick up my phone call. And now I have meetings set up with them to sanction in some of the biggest combat sports states in the entire country are coming up in November with the potential of really blowing this thing out of the water.
That's crazy how that works. First, nobody wants nothing to do with you. Next thing you know, everybody's beating down your door.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's exactly what I said it was going to be all along. I said the bare knuckle was going to be safer than glove boxing and MMA, and everybody looked at me like I had 3 heads. But I knew I did my research. I know longevity of head trauma and things like that. It's you're just not going to take the continual punishment you do with boxing or MMA. So these guys are not going to get the head trauma. Yeah, they're going to get cuts. But ask any human or any doctor in the world, would you rather your patient have a cut or brain damage?
Well,
very,
and
very simple.
That's the argument of it is for, they had that with the UFC too, that with the little gloves or no gloves, that you're likely to, you can get cut quicker, the fights could stop that way. You take less constant abuse, which is what I think they found concussions. It isn't, don't get me wrong, that one big shot where you see a guy get knocked out, that does a lot of damage. But what they were saying is the continual hits, and just like in football too, the continual hits, not just the one big one, is what does a lot of damage, which you get in boxing and so on.
Simple. Like a lot of these guys on the boxing commission, some of them are very, very knowledgeable, have been around for a long time, ex-fighters, ex-trainers, something like that. But some of these guys have never even watched a fight before. And
it's crazy.
And they're in charge of people's lives. So I do it in layman's terms to them. I say, so if I take a brick and hit you in the head, I'm going to knock you out, right? Yes. Now I pad that brick, take a towel, I pad that brick pretty heavily. I'm going to hit you 5, 6, 7 times before I knock you out, right? They go, yes. So now I ask you, what's better for the head, one concussive shot or 5, 6, 7?
That's it. So it's the
so
one.
Simple.
It is.
It's so simple, but they had to see it. Now that they saw it and everything came to fruition on June 2nd, and they saw that it was fast-paced and exciting, and then back in August 25th, it was fast-paced and exciting, and guess what? One broken hand, one broken thumb, one broken nose. 48 people fighting bare knuckle. And that's the extent of the injuries. So that's why these people are starting to answer the phone now. And hopefully we take this, to the moon.
And what was it like? So obviously it's hard even getting these things sanctioned in the early days. What was it like to try to book fighters? Were you getting the old UFC guys, or how were you coming across people to actually do this? Just
it's a job in itself to go through the hundreds and hundreds of applications I get every day.
So you just have
hundreds
people
and hundreds of them. When we announced it a couple years ago that we had a potential date, we got 6,000 emails in a 48-hour period of fighters that were interested in this. Why? Because they want to be a pioneer in something new. They want to give a shot. So the guys that aren't necessarily at the top of their game in boxing or MMA, they can cross over to our sport, and now everybody's looking at them.
And Damon, for you, for the celebrities, I know you've done a ton of shows. How many shows are you up to now?
This is my 66th celebrity fight.
66. Who are some of the big names for people who might not be aware?
Well, Jose Canseco, Danny Bonaduce, Rodney King,
well, that's
Tonya Harding.
That's the one that stands out in my mind the most, because talk about not just being infamous, being a celebrity, but a guy that was really a part of a change in American history with the riots in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Rodney King lived in our Broomall house.
Yeah, he's a cultural icon.
It was unbelievable.
And he was babysitting my children. Him and his
You're kidding.
Crazy. Well, it's funny. Me and my brother were coming back from the store. We're coming to the house. We're coming up to the house. We're like, you got to be kidding me. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy that Rodney King's fucking...
And you're babysitting your kids?
No, sweeping my dad's yard.
No, I drove past my dad's house, and I called him. I go, Dad, Rodney King's raking your fucking leaves. You see, he's like, I'm feeding the motherfucker, aren't I?
Holy shit! I feel like that would be in the tabloids now, or something would be, something would be crazy spin on that.
Great, man.
Great things, Tonya Harding. They were all great adding to this. Like, I really just did this for I didn't do it as a business, because if I did it more a business, I'd be worth $100 million by now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Bottom line is, I did it because I loved doing it. I was really more into the fame stuff myself before, but now I'm more into the business end of it. You know what I mean? I love it. I have a book out. I'm hoping to get a biopic movie. But, ultimately, this is incredible, like just doing a show with you, man. Me and my brother, our first interview, he's on top of his game with bare knuckle fighting. I'm on top of my game with the celebrity boxing. I'm in the tabloids. He's in the real press. I mean, how's it get any better than this? And, we just have some great things, man. I'd love to do a TV show with him. You know what I mean? I think we have our own reality show, and we haven't pitched it yet. But there's so much to it, because, like, I know how to get under his skin. He knows how to get under my skin. Like, we just have, like, guys that always been there for me, and I'm always there for him. And I don't know, man. Just proud of him. You know what I mean? It's exciting, man. Like, it's really exciting. I sit back in my, resting, and sometimes I'm like, this is crazy, man. I'm looking at him up. This guy got an interview here, and I'm like, damn, we're like, this is crazy. And I look under TMZ. I was like, man, we're just like all over the media, and like we're right here in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. It's like, I don't know, man. It's mind-boggling.
Two Delco guys, so it's probably funny if you guys ever look back and think when you were kids growing up in the boxing gym, and you each created your own path. One this way in promotion, the other this way in promotion, and then here you are, both successful.
Well, how my brother got into boxing is really funny, because what happened was, I was going to do a fight, then I broke my hand or something, and they needed someone to step in. He stepped in and knocked the guy out, and that's how his boxing career started.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I've been around it.
If I can't do it, my brother will.
I've been around it since I've been in Vipers, but it was funny. I was training a lot, and I was getting better, and I never really wanted to fight, and then I was just like, you know what? I'll fight. And my dad was like, yeah? I was like, all right, let's do it. So
now, did you have any experience then, or you just go?
I mean, I've trained with everybody in the world.
Yeah,
he was the guy that like would always be like a gym rat. He'd always be at the gym, and he'd spar, and he'd be beating pros up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it was always in my head, like, is this guy ever going to fight? But it never dawned on me he ended up being a pro fighter, and he could really punch. So he'd be sparring guys and like beating contenders up, and
And what weight were you guys?
I was like a middleweight, super middleweight.
Okay.
I was a welterweight, and then I came back at middleweight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we were growing up to be fighters, and I guess like I was really like on my way. Like I think I was really wanted to be a world champion. So I thought about it. I didn't think about girls. I didn't think about drinking. That all came afterwards, like an idiot. And
until he got a girl for the first time, then he started thinking about girls.
He's like, forget boxing.
I'll never.
Now I know what this is like.
I had a great story though. I remember it was like there was this girl I was really interested in, and it was like what was it? New Year's Eve. I was like, everybody's going out, and I'm like, she came over, and I was like, and she had to leave. I was like, listen, you had to go. I was so into boxing, man. It was just like, that was my life, and all I wanted to be was be world champion. I lived it and ate it, right or wrong, man. That was crazy, man. Like, just thinking about it, like, now I couldn't even think about fighting. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about stuff for a while, but it's just a crazy experience what boxing's done for our lives. Like, it's our careers now, you know what I mean? Like, in some aspect.
Yeah, it's funny how that all starts up. You grow around it, you grow up around it, you see it, and at some point in your life you make a decision that I'm not going to do the 9 to 5. This is what I want to do. And I think what you said earlier is really holds true for people that are successful. When you go after with something that you're passionate about first,
right,
as opposed to chasing the money first, that could be. When you go after the passion first and you really enjoy it and you put the work in that really isn't work, is when you do something you love, and then usually you have success from doing that.
Well, definitely. Like, you're doing a radio thing, it's just passion. It's not your job, but you love it. You have to have passion with what you do. If you don't have passion, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you can't die with your money. At least I can leave a legacy with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So. Absolutely.
So I'm going to switch gears real quick here. I wanted to – you guys are obviously two of the top promoters in the area, and I wanted to get your opinion on one fight that just happened and one that's about to come up. So you have everybody's familiar with, or should be familiar, who's interested in fighting, with UFC 229, Conor McGregor versus Khabib. I don't know if you guys saw the bus incident where he basically had his production team snuck him into the facility. He had about 50 guys charge a bus because he knew Khabib was on it. And the backstory is, long story short, Khabib's team, his entourage, actually went in and they were, I think they were messing with one of the guys in Conor's entourage. He got wind of it, literally flew from Ireland to, I think it was New York maybe, to do this. But had a gang, about 30 guys with him, stormed the bus, threw a dolly through one of the windows, glass broke. A couple people got cut up pretty bad. One guy's actually suing him. Khabib was on the bus. So there's a big animosity brewing, I guess, for this fight. That's the backstory for it. You guys being promoters, if you were Dana White, knowing how much money Conor McGregor makes to UFC, how would you guys have handled that? Would you have been more strict or?
Well, I mean, I just want to say that, don't condone that type of behavior, and it was crazy and everything. But I wish I had a friend like Conor McGregor that's going to fly over from Ireland and get my back like that. I mean,
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah, he's a true friend. I mean, he did what he had to do. He probably went above and beyond and was a little too extreme on things. But I mean, hey, if you got a friend like that, you know what I mean. You don't find them very, very often. But I mean, as far as Dana White, look, he's the cash cow for the UFC. He's the biggest draw in the history of the UFC. So what are they going to do? Suspend him? They can't.
They can't.
They can't tell him he can't fight.
Right.
So maybe he has to pay restitution to the guys that he injured, or maybe fines or whatever may happen. But how can you sit your biggest payday? You can't.
Your opinion, honestly, he's got to be making $100 million Saturday, right? Close. He's got to be. I mean, he's the.
I don't think that much. I think that's
the purse is.
How many buys do you think they do Saturday? Seriously,
I think they're trending over $2 million right now.
They're asking for they're anticipating $4 million. I don't know if they get.
And how much is he selling for? Like $80-something. I think.
I didn't see it. 80.
I mean, let's 90. Be real. Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather blew him up, because the bottom line, if Floyd Mayweather won the end of that fight in one round, it would have ended in one round.
Yeah.
He gave Conor McGregor the rest of his life, because he's always going to be like, I fought Floyd his last fight, and also I didn't get hurt, and he did good. You know what I mean? And bottom line is, it's a show. Dana White knows he's more trying to be like Vince McMahon nowadays now too.
Absolutely.
You have to. That's what they want to say. And look.
Do you think that's part of the new ownership group pushing a little more towards that?
I'm sure, because White. Listen, he was a former wannabe boxer. I'm going to be honest. He never fought. His claim to fame was trying to fight Tito Ortiz.
In just a straight up boxing match, I think.
He be a fighter. Got this opportunity. Has some guys with big money. He had a good idea with something, and that's what blew up. Just like what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In different aspects. You know what I mean? But White, did a tremendous job.
He really did. I don't know if you knew a little bit of his backstory. I saw an interview that he was from Boston, and he was like a local trainer, like you said, training kids at a boxing gym. Supposedly, he was in trouble with Whitey Bulger.
I know.
And got chased all the way out to Vegas, where he met up with, I guess, childhood friends of Fertitas, and then started doing the management thing. I was curious to what you guys were going to say, because I agree with you. What choice does Dana White have? You know what I mean? Nobody got seriously hurt, thank God. I mean, some people, Michael Chiesa probably got the worst of it. He got some pretty bad cuts and scratches, and he's going to handle that legally. So whatever happens from that, that's on Conor.
He's going to make more money from that lawsuit than he would have ever made in his fighting career.
I agree.
Exactly. It's true.
It's funny, too, because now I saw him commentating on Fox. I think UFC gave him a little push up there. All right, the other one I wanted to see what your opinion was, Triple G and Canelo that just fought. Just ended in another controversial decision. What did you guys think of the fight? Because I know a lot of people think that Triple G won again, and a lot of people think that the only reason Canelo got the decision was because he's the bigger draw. As promoters, what do you guys think about that? Or first, what do you think about the fight, and then what do you think about that?
I mean, I thought the fight was great. I actually
great fight, absolutely great fight.
SureDog.com called me for a expert pick, so I picked it. I picked it exactly how it was going to happen. I picked Canelo
decision,
to win a very close decision that people might dispute. Exactly how it happened. I don't know how I did that, but I got lucky with the pick. But look, I mean, everybody wants to pull people down that are at the top of their game. Mm-hmm. And Canelo's at the top of his game. GGG's at the top of his game. I mean, it was a phenomenal fight, but I mean, the promoters, and it's a big misconception, and maybe it is in other things that they're saying the promoters are in control of the judges. Look, the promoters for these top draws are in control of the money that's coming in, but they're not paying off the judges, so it's not happening that way. No. So, but what I'm saying is, I mean, it wasn't nobody. I mean, I don't think anyone that watched that fight can say Triple G got robbed.
No.
People can watch that fight and say, I thought Triple G might have won, or he should have won. Close decision, but he didn't get robbed.
It was too close to be a robbery.
It wasn't like an 8 rounds to 4 round decision. It was a 7-5. Either way.
Yeah.
Triple G could fight. There's no doubt. But the bottom line is, he should take one more fight and say goodbye. The guy got money. It's over with, man. Forget it. Bottom line is, nobody wants to see a third match. I mean, they might be interested. There's no interest in a third match. It was a great fight. Canelo did a great job, close fight. Just move on. It's time to move on. Like Canelo, let's see you fight. I want to see him fight the Carlo twins, man. They're bad. You know what I mean? I love Jamal, great guy. He's a real fan of Hoopz, actually. And he may be coming to the fight. And I want to see him fight.
I like Earl Spence too. Earl Spence is a little lighter, but
yeah, Spence is good too. I mean,
Earl Spence, he's an animal, man.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Vicious.
Yeah,
it's good. And the good thing with boxing, the heavyweight division, like it's more of a show now. The heavyweight division is like, that's a comedy act now.
Well, yeah, you got what's his name back? Tyson Fury, and you got the Bronze Bomber,
Deontay Wilder. Yeah.
Deontay Wilder. I saw a little press conference with them today. When's that fight happening?
That's December 1st.
December 1st. Okay, so we still got a little bit of ways for that one. Be interested to see how that plays out. Who you guys got for that one?
Wilder.
Wilder? Think he catches him one of those big shots?
Yeah, I just think he'll.
I don't think Tyson Fury is going to get in the best shape of his life. If he does, I think he beats Wilder.
Yeah.
I always remember one thing. Remember Philadelphia, Steve Chambers hit him with that overhand right and almost knocked him out. Remember?
Cunningham, yeah.
Cunningham, yeah.
Who was the other Chambers? Eddie Chambers?
Yeah. Eddie Chambers. He could fight, man.
I actually boxed with him a couple of times. He was doing some coaching in the Northeast.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of those classes. I forget the name of the gym that had the little boxing thing that he was in there. Nice guy. Okay. Going back to this, I mean, what would you do if you're a boxing promoter and you have a fighter who can fight his ass off but just really doesn't draw? What does a promoter do in that situation?
I mean, it's a mix. That's what I tell these guys that want to come and fight bare knuckle. I tell I look at their pedigree, I look at what they've been through, I look at their record, I look at their background, and then I say, sell yourself to me. Tell me why you're going to be the biggest draw in bare knuckle boxing within 60 seconds. And if they don't have it, I mean, I've turned away some guys that have extensive boxing careers and that are just phenomenal. And I said, look, it's not for you. You got to sell yourself. So if they can't sell themselves,
because there has to be some sizzle. There has to be something that people want to see.
It's the new century. It's not old school anymore. Everybody wants, what's the new big deal? What's the talk? What's the create? Look, it's perfect. I mean, guys like Tyrone and stuff like that on social media, millions of people follow them because it's just, they want crazy things. They don't want to. You have to be like a wild, crazy guy for people. Like, why does everybody want Conor McGregor? He's wild. Who would you rather see? Are you going to go see Eddie Alvarez? No. You're going to see. Nobody even knows who Eddie Alvarez is outside of Philadelphia.
Unless you're a true fight fan, Yeah, but you're right. That's why he's called the Underground King.
Hopkins. He did his thing. It was legendary. But Danny Garcia. He's a great guy, world champion. But if he walks around out here, nobody knows him. And he's still in Philly. And he's a 3-time world champion.
So you just touched on something that I wanted to get into. You mentioned the Big Brody and Tyrone fight. Yeah. I know you promoted that. It seems like you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you were one of the first people to start promoting those up-and-coming social media stars to do a fight. I don't know if that was pay-per-view or not. Was that one pay-per-view?
Internet pay-per-view.
Internet pay-per-view? Okay. So what did you think of the KSI Logan Paul fight that just went out? That had an unrealistic, crazy amount of buys.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like any celebrity fights, whatever, I always get contacted by someone, like thinking it's me or whatever. Bottom line, they did a great job with the promotion. The guys can't fight it all, but they did the best they could do with what they did. I don't think they should have ended in a draw. They should at least fight them one more round with millions of people watching. I sort of
think that might have been on purpose.
Well, I sort of think that it hits me with a black eye. It gives me a black eye now because it's like that comes out, and I got the biggest female celebrity fight ever coming with Nicole, Hoopz Alexander and
Farah Abraham.
And when I announced the referee, it's just going to be insane. But something like that, draw, they should at least fight it out. Like if
I think I saw something about who might be the referee.
Yeah. If it comes to be a draw, they have to fight one more round. They have to. There's not a way I can do a draw, right or wrong.
I agree on a kind of fight like that, a celebrity fight. On a real fight, I mean, it is what it is. But on a celebrity type of fight like that,
you got to have an outcome
like that. But it just goes to show you, on your point, what digital media and what everything like that is happening now, because nobody really knew who those guys were except YouTubers, right?
Right.
But they had the YouTube following,
and there you go.
That's what got the sales.
They saw 18,000, and they did almost 1 million buys. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
So do you think that's being in the celebrity promotion business, do you think that's the new trend of the future for pay-per-view fights?
Medias, I mean,
obviously, like you said, you have Hoopz coming up now, and you have Farah Abraham.
Was sold on internet, not TV. So, these girls, and when I announced the referee as total, when these girls, and when I announced the referee, it's going to be over 8 million people, 10 million people close to it, promoting this event. I mean, Hoopz training the other day just did phenomenal. The Shade Room, People Magazine, Vlad TV.
I saw that
BET,
video. She's a beast, man.
Everybody covered it, man. And
she was throwing some body shots.
I don't believe it, man. Them right hooks and left hooks to the body were unbelievable.
She's coming in, but
she got some guns.
But guess Farah's being trained by Fabiano Iha. He's a former UFC legend. Real excited about that. He's doing a phenomenal job. She also trained with Jeremy Jackson, but Fabiano is going to be coming to Atlantic City. I just talked to him today. It's my man. It's real exciting, and she's training hard too.
These girls are taking it serious.
Well, here's the thing. After that training, I was like, "Hey, Farah, you see it? Don't worry about the training." And she's like, "I saw her. It doesn't matter. I'm coming to win this thing." So
I love it.
I'm like, when I saw her that, man, it just pumps you up. You know what I mean? Because like everybody's about Farah Abraham. They're like, "Oh, she's a little priss." It's not. Bottom line is, listen. You don't know her face to face. I know her face to face.
I saw her doing those push-ups too. She was getting in on some push-ups.
100%.
Or pull-ups, excuse me.
She's not a person. First of all, she doesn't want to lose. She's not a person that likes to lose. She has an ego, and she's coming to fight. She's training hard, believe me. And I'm real excited. It's going to be good. Wait till the referee here. It's unbelievable.
That's crazy. So everybody make sure you tune in for that. It seems like you're on the cutting edge with some of these trends, getting these social media stars. You have another event coming up. You have the beauty battle, which is particular to Delaware County, October 14th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're doing like hairstylist versus hairstylist and makeup artist versus makeup artist in kind of a competition format?
It's barbers. It's Battle of the Barbers and Battle of the Makeup Artists. And in the main event, we're doing Battle of the Sexes, where I have Nicole Missimo from Giovanni's locally taking on Guy Tavani from Tavani's. And I have Carla Faciola from Mob Wives hosting, Samantha Goldberg from E-Network hosting, Aunt Mary Pat hosting, and just incredible judges. And I have an incredible team thanks to Linda Finelli and Mary Alice Enright for really handling all this stuff in the beauty battle. And just Samantha Goldberg is amazing working with her. And Carla, I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited to bring it to Delaware County. After this, doing a fight. And we're going to take a little break, then we're going to come back with like a national beauty tour. And I'm only doing one celebrity boxing event next year. I got the Battle of Internet Stars, the Instagram Joker is going to take on the Instagram Batman. And they have this feud going on, but guess what? Honestly, like I can't even, my social media is overflowing now. It's like, I can't even go into my messages now because
and people
everybody wants to see it. It's just I don't understand it. It's like crazy. It's social media.
It's crazy because you guys come from the old school fight game, so you want to see, back in your day, you're probably thinking you want to see this person versus this person in this matchup.
Yeah. And
now getting in the business that you're in, it's funny. It's pumping you up seeing these celebrities that want to go at each other.
It's amazing, man. It really is, and it's just really exciting because I'm doing what I'm doing, my brother's doing what he's doing, and we're doing it right here in Delaware County from our hometown. And other people are in Hollywood, Vegas. Dana White's in Vegas. Everybody's in Hollywood. We are Hollywood, you know what I mean? And we're here.
You're Hollywood in Delaware County.
That's it, man. And I just want to blow Delaware County up, and we're having some great times, man.
I think it's awesome. I think it's great when people like you from a town that become so successful and you make it to a national stage, but you still stick in your hometown. You still take care of the people from this community, like this beauty battle. These are all people, for the local audience who's listening, these are people who you go to get your hair cut every day or you go and get your makeup done. So not only are you supporting Damon and David, local guys, but you're also supporting these people in your community, which is important.
Definitely giving them their 15 minutes of fame and getting a chance, give them a platform to try to promote their business and become better, for their careers. And it's great given, I think me and my brother are we're definitely about, succeeding, but also I love giving someone a chance. There's nothing like changing somebody's life, really. Like, if I have actually a platform to change someone's life and make them happy, and where they may have not, like I have guys in recovery stepping in the ring in Atlantic City where they're just so thankful, and it's like how much they're appreciated. It's just amazing.
That's great. So what other type of business ventures could pop up from doing these promotions, like for you guys and then also for the people in the events?
I'm trying to get my movie with my book, and hopefully me and my brother can get a TV show or something together. I don't know, man. You know, I think I'm just living the dream. Are you?
I mean, it's just, for me, it's more that 28 people told me I couldn't do it, and I did it. So it's about, you know, to tell everybody that really, truly, if you want something bad enough and you work at it hard enough, you absolutely can make it happen. And look, who knows if we're going to make millions of dollars or we're not going to make any money. But at the end of the day, we kicked open doors that, you know, everybody slammed on us.
Yeah.
And you're not sitting in the cube. You're doing what you want to do, man.
Well,
so
you know,
you gotta have respect for that.
The
for
oldest
sure.
saying in the book is if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
That's 100%. We got to live. Listen, we live one life, man. We got to be able to give back and also have the opportunity to do what we're doing. It's just amazing. And I mean, like we're definitely changing our kids' lives. You know what I mean? Like open up just because of who we are and just giving them opportunities. It's just amazing.
Truly is. So, David, I want to go back to bare knuckle fighting. So, bare knuckle fighting is huge in the UK. And for anyone who is unfamiliar or has stigmas with bare knuckle fighting in England is how boxing originated. And they still do it underground there. It's becoming more popular. I've watched a couple of documentaries on bare knuckle fighting. One with the legend Lenny, the governor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen that one. So he was an old school guy. I've seen the one with James McGorry, and I've seen the one Knuckle, which I actually watched by accident. I didn't even realize what it was, but it was with the Irish Gypsies, who, like you were telling me earlier before we started this, you know, they're over in Ireland. Their families fighting families, and they're settling feuds that way. And I think it was James Quinn McDonough was one of the stars in that. So with it being so big in there, you already mentioned Bobby Gunn. Any plans to bring any of those guys any upcoming events with those fighters?
Yeah, you know, as we mentioned, you know, this is, as Damon said, local Delaware County. You know, unfortunately, the state of Pennsylvania and the Commissioner Greg Serb didn't give me my chance to do this here in my home state, and he missed a boat. But this is not only going national, this is worldwide. January 26th will be in Mexico. April will be in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. And in May or June, we're actually going to England. There's the guy that did the Netflix series. He is the Sean Smith. He's the collector. They did a big Netflix series on bare knuckle. We're going over there and partnering on a show with him over there in the UK. So there's definitely plans of bringing some of those guys over here, but we're traveling everywhere. I mean, when we said we were taking everything over, and this is Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 3, it's titled The Takeover because it's takeover time. It's time to show everybody what bare knuckle fighting really is, what dreams can be made of if you work hard enough, and you know, we're giving the fans what they want: fast-paced fighting action all night long. It's incredible sport, and it truly is, or truly does have a chance to be on the same level as the other two major combat sports.
I agree. I think you see combat sports just continuing to evolve and continuing to blow up. Barstool Sports, they do a rough and rowdy competition now where they just take local guys who want to settle a feud, not on a professional level like you guys have, you know, serious legitimate fighters. How do you see the sport of bare knuckle evolving? Do you see it exploding like the UFC did once it got going, or how do you see it? What do you see as envisioned for that sport?
It's funny. I listened to Dana White's, I think it was like a 18-minute documentary on how he got UFC rolling by getting the Fertitta brothers involved and the whole 9 yards. And to be honest with you, I was like, what? Is this the life I'm living? This is what I'm living right now. Everybody told him he couldn't do it. Everybody told him no. He had investors get on board. He blew some of their money, but then, you know, they
were almost about to shut it down.
Almost
I think.
About to shut it down.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, when you're losing money and I'm in it. Dana White was in it. I'm in it day in day. I see what people are saying. They're just money guys, so they don't really see it as much. But I know where this is going to go. So where is it going to go? I think if we can sustain, the financial risk that it's going to be to get this going, I think probably by about 2020, beginning of 2020, it's a serious mainstream sport. Like I said at the beginning, we're in talks right now with ESPN of doing a 12-part character-based docuseries on bare knuckle fighting championship and the fighters that are fighting in this. And when did UFC really make it? They made it when they got Ultimate Fighter. So if we can get our Ultimate
that
Fighter
Forrest
type
Griffin,
show,
the guy's name he fought,
Stefan Bonner.
Stefan Bonner. Yeah, that fight was really what set it off.
Right. So if we can get that now at this early stage in the game, there's no telling where we could go. Look, our goal is truly, and it can be, people can think that we're biting off more than we can chew, but our goal is to be competitive with any and every other combat sport out there. Excuse me. But not only are we talking about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, my company, but we were the original. We created a sport. So we created a whole new combat sport. It's incredible. It's really, truly incredible for the opportunities now that we're going to give some of these fighters that maybe wouldn't have made it in boxing or MMA because their style didn't fit that. Now their style fits bare knuckle fighting, and now they get a chance to fight on pay-per-view on the biggest platform in the world and actually be able to make the kind of money that they can take care of their families.
And they deserve, yeah.
It's life-changing for people.
Yeah, and once again, going back to what we've been saying, it's giving someone the opportunity to do what they love and do what they enjoy.
Sure.
As opposed to, just going through the motions to make money at your standard 9 to 5. Question for both of you guys. We got a few more here before we wrap up. Obviously, boxing promoters and boxing in general has a stigma over the years of being corrupt. You got guys like Don King. What would you guys say to people who have this opinion about fight promoters and the fight business?
Well,
no, go ahead.
Well, just like if you say Don King has made millionaires over and over and over again. The bottom line is boxing is people getting paid in boxing. They don't know how to invest their money. They don't put it away. So all of a sudden, when they're broke, they're blaming the promoter who wasn't paid enough, this, that, and the other thing. But when they're riding high, they're only saying thank you to them and hyping them up. Bottom line is, listen, when you're in the sport, me and my brother, former fighters, we respect the sport. And, if a guy, say we're doing an event with a guy sells 50 tickets, doesn't turn the money in, I'm not paying you. What am I going to pay you for? You owe me. It's the bottom line. So, look, you're always, when you get in the spotlight, you're always going to be, criticized, and you're going to be the guy that everyone wants to go after. Who really cares? Bottom line is, man, if you're not paying my child support, not paying my bills, say whatever you want.
Well, that's a big point, too. In professional sports at all, there's a big problem, I guess, with money management and athletes obviously not being able to handle that money. A lot of them come dirt poor, and this is their first time seeing money like this, and they don't know how to handle it, quite honestly.
I agree 100%, but on the other aspect of it is they don't see what the promoters go through. So being a former fighter and a promoter, I saw both ends of it. My brother saw both ends of it. But, they don't see the sleepless nights we have because we might lose our house over this next show that we're promoting. Because if enough people don't buy tickets and we don't have enough money to pay the fighters, we lose everything that we put up. They don't see what promoters go through either. Everybody wants to point at promoters and saying, oh, they're making all the money. You know what? If a promoter makes a lot of money on a show and he took 20 gambles to get there, he deserves to make every dime he made.
100%.
Absolutely, because they could lose their shorts anytime.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I guess people don't realize those risks. And with that being said, give us a little look into both of you are really busy. Damon, you have a couple events coming up. You have a couple events coming up, David. What's it like when you guys are in this hectic time frame of a couple weeks to an event, making phone calls nonstop, appearances? What's it like for a promoter that people might not realize?
I think right now, if I get 3 hours of sleep, I just hit the jackpot.
Oh, shit.
So we're not sleeping. it's stressful. I mean, if people didn't live this, especially what we're doing stuff that's a little more risky than just general boxing or MMA. We're doing new things. We're doing things that people haven't done before, and we just don't know how the public is going to take it all the time. And like I said, we could lose everything on one show and it's over. People don't understand what that's like, and making sure all the fighters have their medicals in, especially for me, making sure that they're promoting, making sure that they're on social media, making sure the advertisements are going right, the venue set, the TVs, right, the commercials are going. Like, it's so much to do to people. When they point at promoters, they don't understand what's going on here. This is so many different things that are going on that have to get done, and we're the guys that have to get them done.
Do you guys have assistants to help keep you organized, to keep some of this together?
Yeah, I mean, I got my son David Jr., who's my right-hand man in this, helps out a lot. I got my social media marketing guy, Rob Brazes, who helps create. I've got my investors. I've got guys down in different states. When I was in Wyoming, I had some guys out there. Now I'm in Mississippi. I've got Ricky Doran and Will Hunter really helped me out big time down there. So those guys, you as you get into this sport and you create a decent reputation, you get guys that actually, like those kind of guys, they really want to help me. Not even for the money right now. If the money comes, I'm sure they're going to be happy to get paid. But right now they want to help because they want to be, again, they want to be a part of starting something new and be a part of something great. And it's great to find guys like that down there and the team that I have. And when we did June 2nd in Wyoming, because of the death threats that we got and everybody that messed with us and the 28 states that said no, I tell you've seen...
Death threats just because they don't like bare-knuckle boxing?
No, death threats because they wanted to kind of do what I was doing. Just jealous.
Jealous?
Yeah, a lot of jealous people.
They wouldn't come to our face. You know what I mean? Like,
it's all...
Listen, everybody has something bad.
Keyboard warriors.
The bottom line of it all is, man, I look someone in the eye. Look, I have fun, I joke around, but the bottom line is, man, I can look you in the eye and tell you whatever. My brothers help me out, man. I still look you in the eye. You know what I mean? Like, do I, he helped me out? Unbelievable.
If you don't pay me back, I'm going to kick your ass.
It's important. Like, a lot of people talk. Bottom line is, just be real, man. Like, I'm sick of all the haters. I used to be tears when I used to write all the haters. I don't understand now. I got so many haters. It's like funny. It's like a joke. Isn't it? I'm messing with my kids. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Isn't it crazy, social media, not to get too off topic here, but how negative. It's just become a platform, especially Twitter, of just negativity.
Well, Instagram too, but who cares? You could be opinionated. Just why bully someone?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see anybody succeed, and that's just the way it is. And that's why we're targets. We're targets because we are making.
You're doing what a lot of people want to do.
What a lot of people said, I wish I could have done that, but I didn't have the balls to take the chance to do it. I didn't mortgage your house to take all the money to put it on a show that if it failed, you and your family were living on the streets. And they don't understand, like I'm saying, like there's so much behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. But where I was getting at is but what I was getting at, like in Wyoming, I had my team there. I'm talking my team. My brother was there. All my team, everybody that's been there for me when I was going through and getting all this shit going on. And you saw right after that fight, I mean, every grown man out there was in tears because of what we went through. Happy tears, but it was unbelievable because
the crowd, 1,000 people showed up. I mean, come on.
How many people really, truly, not just because we're doing it or I did it or Damon's doing it, but how many people really, truly go for what they want in life? They don't.
They don't. And it's because, like you said, they're scared.
It's so easy to say. It's so easy to say no. It's so easy to say I can't do it. But, I mean, really, without sounding, not hypocritical, but without sounding like I'm, trying to preach here. But I'm living proof. And I didn't make the money that I need to make yet, but I broke down barriers. I'm living proof that if you knock on those doors and punch those doors hard enough, they're going to open.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take the shot. I think you always have to take the first step, and people are scared to take the first step, whether it's ridicule from family and friends to why are you doing this? You have a good job already. What are you, crazy? Why would you do something like that? And I think that sits in people's mind and prevents them from ever taking a step. And it's the people that actually have the guts to do it, but not only do it, but stick with it, because it's not just going to happen like that. You got to, like you said, you guys have been through a lot. You've taken a lot of hits, and you got to take the hits and keep coming.
That's it.
And that's that's how you get it done.
You got to accept criticism. When they tell you can't, say you can. They say no, say yes. You know what I mean? So bottom line is, man, I don't know. Life's great, man. Yeah. Bottom line is we're doing a show. It's awesome doing a show with you. Who cares what people... Dude, tell me I can't do it. I'm doing it.
You're going to do it, and you're not even going to think twice about what they say.
The governor's trying to knock me down. All these people are trying to knock me down. How I go on Howard Stern's show, man. Come on. It's all about power and having the connections. Nobody has more connections than us. Not being arrogant.
And that's something that you guys have built up, too.
Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what people don't realize. They think that shit just happens, but it's through the networking.
Too, like, you know, I have a great team. Mary, Linda, Samantha, everybody. It's just Carla. You know, everything's great, man. Dino, Tony, everything's great. You know what I mean? So I'm getting frustrated now just thinking about like all the people try to break it down. But good.
Nah, don't let that stop you. Well, here, maybe this will bring you back up. So before we get to all the upcoming events and everything that you guys got going on, I did want to touch on your book, The 16-Minute Man.
Yeah.
Give everybody a little cliffhanger of what they could expect and then where they can go out and find this book.
Well, it's a book that I wrote in a weird time, and everybody's like, this guy's not writing. But I came out and I made it happen, right? I mean, I did. I wrote that book. I had it done right away. My man, thanks to Sporty Smith, I have to thank him. He did do it. Amy, Angel, he did incredible. Bottom line is you get it on Amazon, and I'm going to do a couple book signing things coming up, but I just want to get the biopic movie. And
so movie maybe to come?
That's what I'm planning on right now. I'm working with a lot of people.
Awesome.
We got the actor picked out, and let's see.
Can we know that? Or
nah,
no, not yet? Okay.
Well, it's going to happen.
Okay.
I think he's interested. I know, thanks to Frank Stallone, he helped me out. So, yeah.
Oh, Frank, Rocky's brother.
Yeah.
There we go. So, again, you can get the book on Amazon. Any plans for an audio book or just sticking with the hardback for now?
I'm talking my man, good friend, Chris George. He's going to be doing audio. It's coming out. A lot of stuff coming.
Awesome.
Step by step.
So we're going to wrap up here. Guys, I really appreciate the time. Nice. Giving me the Feldman exclusive, first time ever. Really Two brothers have got together.
I don't know. We never did this before. So
yeah,
our TV thing, Chris Bruce is going to do the TV thing, but I'm really excited, man. Thank you for having us. I'm happy
to be the first here. And, David, I'll start with you. Let everybody know what upcoming events you have, where they can buy tickets, where they can find you on social media, all that good stuff.
Well, first and foremost, October 20th at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. You can get tickets through bareknuckle.tv. But it's going to be live on pay-per-view on all the major television and streaming platforms worldwide, and it's going to be available in 250 million households in the United States and Canada. So I'm telling you, if you're a fight fan, you have to watch Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. It's the future of combat sports. It's what fighting is truly all about. It's fast-paced, nonstop action. It's fighters that are going in there, giving it their all, and being very gentlemanlike about it. So that's October 20th, Saturday, October 20th, live on pay-per-view. Very reasonable price at $29.95. So, go check that out. It's going to be great. And then we're going to make some announcements again. Maybe we come back here with you. We'll be in Mexico on January 26th doing USA versus Mexico. Then we're going to do 2 more shows in the States, and then we'll be April in Australia doing USA versus Australia. So we have a lot of stuff planned for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and just expanding this sport and expanding our brand, expanding this company, and giving a lot of people different opportunities and really growing. And, we hope to be talked about when people mention combat sports, when they mention boxing and MMA. Hopefully they're mentioning Bare Knuckle Fighting at the same time.
Man, love what you're doing. Love the sport. Love that you're giving these guys an opportunity. And make sure you support David and all the bare knuckle community. These guys are warriors just like everybody else. They're athletes. They're hard workers. So make sure you get out there and buy those pay-per-views. And, Damon, what do you got going on? Where can everybody find your upcoming events, buy tickets, and, find out on social media?
Yeah, definitely. Instagram, at Celebrity Boxing 1, Facebook, all over. My website's DamonFeldman.com. My book is on Amazon. Got the Farah Abraham versus Nicole Hoopz Alexander fight coming up at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, November 10th. There's room discounts. Tickets are on sale at upcomingevents.com. Just real excited. Just some great things. Beauty battle. Look for the national tour coming next year as the main focus. Joker versus Batman. And just gonna live some life, man. Have some fun here.
Awesome.
I want to throw my plug out for my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. It's all Bare Knuckle FC. So Bare Knuckle FC on Twitter, Bare Knuckle FC on Instagram, and Bare Knuckle FC on Facebook. Come check out those sites and see what we have going on with the fighters and the events coming up.
All right, so that's that. Make sure you guys get out there, support these guys, support their events. They're two local guys that give back to the community and doing big things, two brothers. So happy I could have them on the show. As always, make sure you check out my social media, which is Storytime with Boots at Facebook, Storytime with Boots on Instagram, Storytime W Boots Twitter, and I'm going to share links to all these guys' events so you can, if you're not on their social media, I'll definitely have it on my page as well. You can check it out. Yeah, make sure you get out there and get those pay-per-views. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.
We got to have you back again.
What are we waiting for? Take us!